There-
There you go.
Thanks,
Back
Stephen.
recording.
So there there's 61 RICO charges right now against protesters at Cop City. I think everyone here is probably pretty aware of what's happening there. They're trying to build a $90 million police training facility where the cops will be trained by like Israeli forces on civic dissent, and they're having to tear up this ancient forest that's like the biggest green space and protector for like flooding and all different kinds of things in Atlanta. So all the residents are really against it. They just got a petition of 116,000 signatures that is stuck in appeals court right now because the Democratic mayor like won't accept this petition for a referendum to at least let the voters decide. And so Senator Warnock is finally speaking up about transparency. So there are 42 people arrested under domestic terrorism charges. That includes people that were at a concert festival that was like loosely related, not even at the land there. Criminal trespass, mutual aid is considered part of this conspiracy, this racketeering conspiracy. The people who were collecting bail funds were they're being charged with money laundering and charity fraud. There was a legal observer for the Southern Poverty Law Center who is also arrested. And these indictment charges go back to the day that George Floyd was murdered, like way before Cop City was even a thing. And so that's being held up, and it's being held at in Fulton County. Like all these people are being detained in Fulton County, which is the same jail that not only Trump was indicted at, but also we've had like several deaths of inmates there because the conditions, like LaShawn Thompson, who was eaten to death by bed bugs before he even went to trial. So that's where they're at right now. And also the kids that were passing out flyers that had the names of the cops who shot Tortuguita 57 times and murdered him, allegedly murdered him while he was sitting cross-legged in a tent. They're under RICO charges and domestic terrorism charges. And the DeKalb County DA, it had to be moved to Fulton County because the DeKalb County DA says that she had fundamental differences in prosecuting as than the attorney general, and she would only proceed with cases that could make a reasonable doubt, basically saying that these charges are so flimsy that she won't prosecute them. So they found another person to do it. And we're just looking at this, like not just Cop City, but this whole wave of crackdown of protesters. You had some cops like pull a gun and try to run over some climate protesters that were blocking the entrance to Burning Man, which is just so like scratching my head. Don't tread on me, what's going on? Like this Burning Man where they're protesting, everybody like flying in and using all this carbon and creating such an environmental mess for this like hippie fest. And it's like, it's just the point of the police cracking down. We have Jessica Resnicek, I think is how you say it. She's serving 8 years now for domestic terrorism charges for trying to stop Standing Rock. There are just so many different cases, and I do want to bring up, since we're talking about Pacifica Radio here, and there's also the Enbridge protests in was it Missouri, where it was found the Guardian did a whole expose about how the police were being funded by Enbridge to surveil and for like training, like even like rubber bullets and coffee and all kinds of things were paid for by this corporation for cracking down on these protesters.
Andy,
Give me 1 second, Mila. I'm almost finished. Finished, Mila. Thank you. So in Kansas right now, there's a publication that was raided by the police, and all of their computers, their servers, their hard drives were taken. And if you remember, that's what Donziger was actually basically prosecuted for refusing to turn over his source material in his journalistic or his attorney pursuits, right? So this is a publication which is just really dangerous precedent. Like even the search warrant is basically very questionable. It was signed by a magistrate judge, and the publisher, the co-publisher, died the next day from the stress of this raid of these journalists that were investigating the police for sexual misconduct. And so we're seeing this huge crackdown of insane amounts of just overstep by the and by the courts for anyone resisting. And it's just a very dangerous place to be right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wendi, I
Thank you
just
so
have
much
a-
for that, Wendy. Go ahead, Myla.
I just have a
Myla?
quick question, Wendi, and it's something that Lynn Feinerman asked in the chat, and I've been wondering that myself, and that is this RICO case that's being brought against people associated with the resistance to Stop Cop City. Who is that? Fonnie Willis? Is that RICO case? Well, do you know who's been leading that RICO?
I think it's probably the state attorney general. And it's not Fonnie Willis though. But it's within, I have it somewhere in one of the articles that I
Okay.
can.
Okay,
Thanks for
so-
that. That's all I wanted. I apologize for interrupting.
No. Thank you so much, Myla. Thank you, Wendy, for that rundown. Steve, we'll go to 4:20. It's 4:16 now, so everybody can hang up and go do a doobie at 4:20. Tatanka, you have a hand. I do want to mention, by the way, if any of you are wondering, what's behind me is an outdoor classroom where I taught the Bill of Rights at Capital University. So that's what you've been looking at for the last 2 hours. Tatanka, then Mimi, and then I think we're done. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to
Thank you
say,
for that, Wendy.
everybody I've met who's running for KPFK board, it's been such a gas getting to know you. And thank you, Harvey and Myla and Jan, for initiating this. And I love the ideas, the out of the box ideas. And I just think we need to bring in these out of the box ideas exist in the community that can go on the air. And so the first thing I want to do is bring in all the young Latinas from Dolores Huerta Foundation, bring in the Sunrise Kids, just bring in a lot of youth. And there are experimental things happening in the community that if they were on air, I think people would say, hey, I didn't know I want that. I want it.
And we got to do it in a qualitative way where people
Right. We team
actually
it
know what
together
they're
with the
doing.
quality. It can be done.
It can be done, absolutely.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Saturday Night Live example was very good. I appreciated that.
And you can Tatanka, you can play the role of John Belushi. Okay, Mimi, go ahead. We're almost done here.
Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks, Sluggo. You mentioned SolartopiA, and this came to mind for me that there seems to be a fair amount of folks here from California. This Thursday is one of the last times we can call into the so-called California Public Utilities Commission to stop an additional solar tax on our bills here in California. I did put in the chat, please go to solarrights.org, and they are Solar Rights Alliance, and they will have all the information on doing that for calling in on Thursday. And I don't know if this has been previously discussed, but I'll make this super quick, is that for the Dakota Access Pipeline, for our friends, the Standing Rock Sioux tribes, and another bad environmental impact statement, they call them environmental impact statements, from the Army Corps of Engineers has come out. So there is a time for public comments. So I was looking for that information to put into the chat. Of course, you can look at our friends' website, Lakota People's Law Project, for how to comment on that environmental impact statement. The Army Corps of Engineers did give 45 days to do so. We might have 30 days left. I'm not completely sure. Tatanka, may I pass over to you if you know any more about that, please? Thank you so much, Sluggo.
Thank you, Mimi. Tatanka, you want to answer that? We'll give Alex a second, and then Wendy, you'll
No,
finish.
just look up the thing that Mimi said, Lakota People's Law Project. Thank you for bringing that up. It's really, really important and exciting project.
I'll
Great,
put it in
thank
the
you.
chat. Thanks.
Alex, real quick, and we'll go back to Wendy and Myra, and we'll be done.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Keep up the great work. We appreciate it. Wendy, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a quick reminder now that I thought of it. Also, Harvey and I did an awesome article last week on the DeSantis takeover of the government. I'll have to find a link and drop it. And I did an article for Lynn as well, and I feel bad I never even sent it to Sluggo yet. I haven't had a chance, but it was on phosphogypsum, and I'll share that with everyone. So yesterday was not only Constitution Day, it was also not only the anniversary of Occupy Wall Street and all the climate rallies, but it was also my birthday. And so I'm gonna ask everyone to make a donation to Grief for my birthday, if you can. If maybe Stephen or Mike could drop a link for where they could help donate and support the show, because we definitely need us to all come together to keep this going. So whatever anybody could give, please drop what you can. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm glad you've finally turned 21. It's really a pleasure. Thank you. Mila, you'll get the last word here.
I
Thank you,
just
Wendy.
I just raised my hand to wish Wendy a very happy birthday, belated.
All right, and Happy New Year, and we will thank you all. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, Steve and Mike. And everybody, it's been, as always, a real pleasure to be with everybody. So take care, Lashana Tova, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. No nukes, everybody. And let's hope to God we win this Pacifica election. It means so much.
No, no.
No nukes.
Mazel tov. See you.